Today I'd like to talk about the surface area of rectangular prisms. Surface area is the sum of the areas of all the surfaces or faces of a three-dimensional figure, and it's always in units squared. We're trying to see how many square units it takes to cover that surface completely. The formula for surface area of a rectangular prism is 2 times the sum of the length times the width, the length times the height, and the height times the width in units squared, where L is the length, W is the width, and H is the height. I'll give you a minute. You can pause it here to get that copy down in your notes, and then we'll work a couple of examples. Here's our first example. It's a rectangular prism, and the first thing I want you to notice about this is that if we label this the length, and this the width, and this the height, when we multiply length times width in our formula, length times width, we're getting the area of this bottom, okay? When we multiply length times height, we're getting the area of this front face. And then when we multiply height times width, we're getting the area of this end. When we multiply that whole thing, after we add those, when we multiply that by 2, we're including not only the area of the bottom, but the top, since they're the same, the area of the front and the back, since they're the same, and the area of the 2 ends. Let's go ahead and work this one. As we've already stated there, the length is 11, the width is 5, and the height is 6. So here's our formula. Surface area is equal to 2 times the sum of length times width, length plus the length times height, plus the height times width. Let's go ahead and plug our numbers in there. And as you can see, for the length, in both places, we replaced it with 11. We've substituted in 11. For the width in both places, here and here, we substituted in 5. And then for the height in both places, we've substituted in 6. Now we're going to go ahead and get our our products inside the parentheses. And so 11 times 5 is 55, 11 times 6 is 66, and 6 times 5 is 30. Since these are in parentheses, we still have to go ahead and add those together before we multiply. The sum of that would be 151. Now all we have left to do is to multiply by 2. So the surface area of this rectangular prism would be 302 centimeters squared. Here's our next example, and let's go ahead and just start from scratch. First thing I want to do is I want to identify our length, width, and height. We have a length of 14. We have a width of 7. And we have a height of 5. So let's go ahead and write that formula down. Hopefully we're starting to get that memorized by now. So surface area of a rectangular prism is equal to 2 times length times width plus length times height plus height times width. We'll go ahead in this next step, we'll go ahead and we'll plug in our numbers. So surface area is equal to 2 times length times width would be 14 times 7 plus length times height would be 14 times 5 plus height times width would be 5 times 7. Our next thing to do is to get our our products inside the parentheses. So that would be surface area is equal to 2 times 14 times 7 is 98 plus 14 times 5 is 70 plus 5 times 7 is 35. The next thing we need to do is go ahead and get our sum inside. So that would be, if we added this up, that would be 203. We still need to multiply it by 2. So 2 times 203. So our surface area is 406. We need to put a tag on it, remember, and so this is going to be meters. We're talking area, so it's units squared. So our solution is 406 meters squared, or square meters.